Hello, and welcome to the QI podcast. I'm your host, DJ 10th Power. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 9. This episode, I was having some difficulty trying to come up with what I would call it, what would be the title of this particular episode. And during my day, I usually try to pick out 2 CDs that I can listen to and take my mind away from things, my mind off the traffic that I'm stuck in when I'm driving. And I was playing this CD, Gangstar, The Moment of Truth. And I haven't listened to it in a while. It's an amazing album. It's dope. There's no skip material on this entire album, and it's 20 songs deep. And but 2 songs really stuck out to me. And that's the title of the album, the title song of the album, The Moment of Truth, and Royalty. Moment of Truth is track number 8, and Royalty is track number 4. And then everything came together for me at that point. See, 2 days ago, today is September 24th, Thursday. 2 days ago, President Trump was out here in PA at an airport hangar holding his KKK rally. And what kind of got to me about this is I was watching one of the news channels that morning when they were talking about the rally. The reporter had said, look at the pictures of the audience. He said, there's nobody in this audience but white people. He said, this is a KKK rally. Let's just call it what it is. And I have to agree with him. You look at the pictures, there was no person of color in there. There wasn't his African American in that audience. And Trump was leading the rally, and it was kind of like Hitler when he's at the podium. A big bully when he's in front of a bunch of people, but he stubs his toe and he can't defend the country. Anyway, during this rally, he took it upon himself once again to give insults to the ladies of Congress that are known as the Squad. 2 of the members that one of the members that he mentioned is Representative Omar, and he's always attacking her and AOC. And it always gets me to how not only does he attack women of color, but he attacks women that intimidate him, that they don't allow him to bully them. Women of substance, women that have smarts, brains, educated women. Senator Warren, smart, educated woman. Michelle Obama, he knows better. She would have mopped the floor with him if she decided to run for office. And that brings me to a bigger point of view. I'm sick of the bullying of women. I continually say in episodes of this QI podcast, in our second season and in our first season, that this country does not protect its women. There was not one Republican that said he was out of line for saying what he said, because they're not brave enough. When I drive out of my home and I drive down the road and I see a sign at one of the homes that says "Women for Trump," and it cracks me up actually, because I feel like, okay, so you want him to grope you. You want him to shove his tongue down your throat. If not you, then maybe one of your kids. I don't know. I don't understand how there are women for Trump. It's a known fact that he sexually assaulted women, and yet that's acceptable to you. It's a known fact that he's racist, and yet that is acceptable to you. It's a known fact that he's a bully at the podium, but that's acceptable to you. He's insulted our allies, the people that we have to stand side by side with in a war, and that you accepted. So I ask America, where do you draw the line? Where is it that you say, I can't support this anymore? Because that audience that he had out there, they're willing to accept all of that. They wouldn't accept this, let's not fool ourselves, from another president, much less Barack Obama. This country is hypocritical. Or should I say, 40% that follow him are hypocrites. They like to be lied to. They don't want to deal in facts. They want to deal in alternative facts and conspiracy theories. This is their thing. And if that's what you want, that's what you got. I hope it doesn't get reelected, because you're going to see democracy go right out the window, but not without a fight from people like me. And I want to send, speaking of all of that, I got off subject there. The decision came down last night for Breonna Taylor from the Attorney General of Kentucky. And I can't imagine how her family or her friends feel. I have a daughter also. I have granddaughters. And I can only say my children are Breonna Taylor. That could have been my daughter. I used to love cops. I used to want to be in law enforcement as a lawyer. Not anymore. I say that instead of the 12 million, and really the family should have got more than that. Let's just be factual. But instead of taxpayers like me having to pay this fine, maybe we should take it out of the police retirement fund. If we really want to stop some of this nonsense that's happening, hit the retirement fund. I bet you'll start to see a change. I bet you we won't see as many black people being assassinated and murdered by the cops. Hit the retirement fund. Taxpayers should not be paying for this. Moving on. Tonight's episode is about two special young women that I had the honor to interview. And it's two women who put together the Black Lives Matter, a successful peaceful protest here in New York City. And that's what this interview is about. And that's what me talking about Elizabeth Warren and the squad and Michelle Obama. You ladies are royalty to me. You're royalty. I salute you. This veteran salutes you. The Republicans may want to bully you. They may want to insult you. This man sees you as queens. Elizabeth Warren, the two ladies that I interviewed tonight, Arlette Morales and Tzipporah. You're going to enjoy this interview as much as I did. Hopefully they did too. And at the end of it, I'll have follow-ups. For now, enjoy the interview. On today's QI podcast with DJ 10th Power, I'm here in the Lion's Den, and we like to bring what I think is groundbreaking stories, important stories that really need to be told on a higher level. And these ladies' stories needs to be told in that direction. These are two ladies that led the charge for the Black Lives Matter rally. And I'd like to introduce Arlette Morales and Tzipporah Goins. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yep, Tzipporah Goins.
Great. Okay. Welcome to the QI podcast, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
My first question, I want to start from the very beginning. What motivated the both of you to get involved in holding such a big rally? Or let's just start with the Black Lives Matter movement. Besides us being people of color, what motivated the two of you to get involved in the movement at such a young age?
So I was always involved in like organizing and, community and being an activist. So I stepped up and I posted on my Facebook to see who would be interested in participating in a demonstration here in York. And so I put it on my Facebook, and immediately I got so much love from my friends, from local friends that I have here in York. And it just spread quickly, and it was just going, it just spread. And I just didn't expect that. I thought it was just going to be like a few of my friends, family, teachers, nothing too crazy, but it blew up in York. And so I I wanted to step up because it was during quarantine and our city was finally opening back up. And, I was so mad. I was on my phone looking at all the protests that were happening, looking at everything that was happening. I was just so mad inside and I wanted to do something and, use my voice and actually get out of my house and protest because, this is unfair. This is not something that I want to see happen. And so, like I said, it blew up. It was getting out of, hand for me. And so then that's when I reached out to Tzipporah, and together we decided to organize it. And yeah, it was just something that started off so small with just my mind just, full of emotions, and it grew into something so big and really powerful for our city.
Tzipporah?
Yeah, I mean, to add on to what Letty said, I think there was just a lot of emotion swirling during that whole moment. And then with COVID, like, because you're in quarantine, people, they aren't able to, when this happens while you're in quarantine, all you have are, like, you're just feeling all of these things, and there needed to be an outlet. And I think the demonstration was a perfect opportunity for people to come out and, I guess, express those emotions. Yeah.
Now, I want to congratulate you, ladies. I see that you guys are up for a nomination for Changemaker Award at the Downtown First Awards this year.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So after you guys started reaching out to people, you saw that this was going to be on a really, really big level. What was the next move for you guys?
After the protest?
No. After you realize, wow, this thing is going to be bigger than what we actually reached. I know some of my family members, I had to work, but there were some of my family members there, and they said, wow, it was a massive turnout, and everybody showed nothing but love and respect. It didn't get out of hand. And what was it like being on stage and seeing the outpouring of support?
So Tzipporah and I, we arrived an hour earlier, and even before that, like an hour before, people were already, standing there being united. Like you could already see the presence of our city. And like Tzipporah and I, we weren't expecting that when we got there an hour. Like we didn't have that in mind going in. Let's go an hour before. Like it was just really crazy. But we wanted to. We really had an emphasis on the peaceful in our protest. Like we wanted to show that a peaceful protest is possible. Like, and York City really demonstrated that and showed that it is possible. And we had a lot of people saying, they're gonna riot. It's gonna become violent. But we ended up proving that no, like we can be peaceful and actually like, protest for something that means so much. And we wanted this to like be safe for everyone. So going into it, we wanted to partner with the mayor, and he opened a lot of doors and helped us. And then also we partnered with the police department, and we wanted to make sure that everyone was going to be okay and that our voices were going to be heard. And yeah, we just wanted it to be safe, and that was one of the main that was like a foundation for.
Yeah, and especially having the Commissioner Robinson is a Black man, and having him stand there and represent both sides, being a Black man and part of the police department, I think was really vital for the people to see. And then having all of those people there, and our biggest thing was to amplify Black voices. So we did have a space for allies to speak. It was very strategic. We planned all of it out, like having this speaker go first. Then when we had an open mic, having Black speakers only. Because when you have that many people out there, it's a perfect opportunity for the voices that are needed for them to be heard. Especially within this fight, sometimes Black voices do end up getting muffled, and I'm really glad that we were able to open that up to them. Yeah.
Was there any support from businesses in this project?
Businesses? What was the support from businesses?
Yes, like did businesses say, hey, we support the rally? Did they become a part, maybe add some money to putting this whole thing together?
I don't think there was, we didn't have a lot of businesses, but we did have like local leaders in our community. They provided like the stage, the sound system, mics, and we did have a local leader provide that. We did have also community, just people in our community that donated water bottles, donated fit masks. And we just had a lot of love from the community. And yeah, we were just so thankful that that we didn't have to stress so much about these little details, and that our community was willing to, give a helping hand. And it was really something that we were so thankful for, and like something that, that we could, relax about. And yeah, it was awesome.
Some businesses ended up putting out statements for having, and while I don't think that Black Lives Matter necessarily equate to, it's not really a huge statement to make when you just put up a sign, but it was nice to be in an area where you could look around and feel the support, because you know that the businesses around were supporting the movement. And I think it was more just the protest and how people reacted, like, hey, look, let me help you guys get set up with this, let me make a donation, that sort of thing. Like we had to prove ourselves a little bit first, which I think is fair. So we got more support afterwards, but it was still present for this as well.
Did it with the idea to me? Because are you like the voter, or are you the age still? You're not of age.
We're both 17.
Okay. Because this would have been another opportunity to maybe do some work. Did anybody come up with an idea?
Did you say like, and this could have been like an opportunity for us to register folks to vote? Was that what you asked?
Right.
Yeah, we actually didn't think of that in the moment. Just because it was like a really fast process that we had to go through. Like we only had like 2.5 days, almost 3, to really organize the protest. So it was all quick. So we didn't really have the chance to, have flyers, and it was just all really quick. But then after the protest, we did have a few people say, like, I wish we could have, like, we put this also in the protest. And there was a lot of young voices that, are the next voters for this election. And this election, the youth vote is so important. And we did see a lot of love from the youth, and especially from like Black youth and from people of color who, whose voice really matters this election. Yeah, but we didn't add that to the protest, which would have been even, better. But now that we know that, we can hopefully add it for future.
I think during the actual protest, I think Letty actually did mention, make sure you guys go out and vote, because there was an election that was happening, a local election, but it wasn't a pivotal part of the protests, because like Letty said, it happened really quickly. But after we're in a registration thing that some people are organizing, so hopefully we can do something with that and get more voters out. And specifically, we're trying to get Black youth to speak about registering to vote. So that's something that's really cool that came out of the protest.
Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I saw you guys make the paper the next day, front page. I was in line at a Rutter store getting soda, and I really grabbed the paper, and I'm not gonna lie to you, tear came to my eye, because like, these young ladies are leading a charge that you just, it just really did a lot to me. And the media coverage that you guys are getting, what has that been like? Does it give you a little bit of pressure, or what does it make you feel like?
So here, recently Tzipporah and I, we were on the face of York magazine, and like it's crazy. Like you never see 2 young women of color on the front page of a magazine. And like that's powerful. Like that means so much, especially in York. Like it's so crazy. Like it gives me a lot of hope to know that like we have like pushed a lot of people into the movement and have like, inspired, and it just gives me a lot of hope, and it just makes me so happy. And it doesn't make me pressured, but it just gives me a lot of hope for the.
I think there was a certain amount, of pressure, just because when the protest was over, there was that, like, what do we do now, kind of in the air. Because like both Lenny and I, we don't want to just be known for the protest, and we aren't just known for the protest, especially Arlette, because Arlette has previous activism within her organizations as well. But just being known for the protest isn't really what we wanted. I think using the protest to create a path of like our involvement in New York is definitely the way we're heading. And to be on the cover, I don't know if I wasn't being a great listener, but I didn't actually know we were going to be on the cover at first. I just thought we were doing a shoot. I remember, I think Letty and I talked about it. We were like looking and we were like, I don't know if we're going to be on the cover, but our photos will be in the magazine. And that was super dope in the first place. And then when we got the actual printout and they sent it to us digitally, I remember like being in my hotel room with my family and I was like, guys, and it's been like a tough personal year for me as well. But to have this one like really big highlight, that was really awesome. And all of us like jumping up and being like, oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm on the cover. And at 17, like that's something I'm really proud of and I'm deeply humbled by.
Arlette, can you talk to us about some of the stuff that you've done previously?
My parents brought me to the United States when I was 2, so I'm not born here, so that creates like a lot of, conflict and, like when I was 14, I realized like what it meant to be undocumented. And so that's like what drove me and what pushed me. And yeah, at 14, I joined an organization called CASA that is here in New York and in Maryland, Virginia. And we fight for social justice, and we also focus on immigrant issues and immigrant rights. And so through them, I've been able to, just be inspired and, share my story. And it's been a really tough fight. And, I'm going to keep fighting. Right now, like one of the biggest fights and challenges is DACA, which is, a program for children that come here and gives them opportunities, like gives them the opportunity to work, gives them the opportunity to continue higher education, and is like a protective program that will keep them from being deported. And I didn't qualify for that because Trump shut it down just 17 days before I would be able to submit my application. So the Trump administration has created a lot of difficulties in our community, but it's been really tough having it, being kicked back and forth, knowing that one day I'll be able to submit my application and then the next day it gets closed off. And it's just really tough, but I'm going to continue to organize and use my voice, because if like we've won twice and we'll win again if we keep fighting. And it just inspires me, to keep fighting for my community and to also step up to the Black Lives Matter movement, because I know what it's like to fear the police. I'll never be able to understand what it's like to be a Black woman, someone that is Black, that fears the police, that fears, having their son or daughter go out. But I do know what it's like to, be scared to be separated from my family, to be scared of, just my existence, so that's what connects me. And yeah, I'm just going to keep fighting.
Please do. And Tzipporah, you had mentioned that this has been kind of a tough year for you. Are you able to speak upon that?
Yeah, sure. It's just like, first, I think being a teen within the quarantine, the whole like mess and like COVID was difficult, and having to adjust to that. Like I genuinely feel like a different person from last year, like last school year. So that's like the first thing. And then my house was involved in a fire, and it's just been really difficult to like completely move and be in a whole new situation. And then like having my family, like my uncle was here, but then he had to leave because then his house was involved in something. So it was like there hasn't been a break. And like things with my dad, and yeah, it's been a really rough year. It's not super, it's one of those things that it's like I wouldn't trade it up, because for instance with quarantine that kind of helped with like, because more people came out probably because they had been locked up for so long in their houses. And so I am grateful for certain things, and I wouldn't change it, but I had to make a lot of adjustments, and it's weird to have to reset kind of where you live. Not being in the same house has been challenging, but making do with what we have. Just trying. School starts in a minute, so I'm excited for what this year is going to look like. It's going to be weird, like online, but yeah, it is what it is. We do what we have to do.
Arlette, can you tell us what holds in the future for you? What are your future plans moving on from here?
So like Tzipporah, I'm going into my senior year of high school. So, it's starting to get like, this is like real. Um, so right now in my situation, I'm waiting for, a decision to be made about DACA because it would be like a really foundational part to my higher education and, for my graduating high school, for me graduating high school. But I do want to go to college and I do want to study criminal justice, but I don't want to be stuck in an office. Like I don't want to just, have to wear, I don't know, a uniform or like, be stuck in just an office doing paperwork. I actually want to like, connect with the community and keep doing what I'm doing now and,
And
go out for sure. An activist, yeah, like I want to keep fighting for, what's right and for my community. And, I don't want to lose what I have right now. I want to build on it and go even bigger and better. But yeah, for sure. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but I do know that I want to continue what I'm doing.
well, what do you in the future? What are your future?
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
So your plans for the
Oh, plans for the future. Um, I think getting through high school, of course. I think it's tough to make plans for college when there's so much that's up in the air. Like for instance, I talked to my family about it, and I'm not going to college if school's going to be online because I refuse to pay tuition for online classes. If I go, especially if I go to a really good college, which I plan to, um, I think, and even for like major wise, I'm not really sure. I know I'm really into traveling and studying abroad. That's something that's always interested me. But even again, like with the situation, I don't know if that's possible. Um, but we'll see. I think I might end up taking a gap year, which would help with working because I really need a job with my situation going on. But other than that, I'm not really sure. Sure. I'm not really sure to figure it out.
Are there any plans down the line for the movement or so what you might want to do as far as your activism? All that.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Are there any plans or any ideas on what you're working on in the future as far as activism?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, continuing the fight that I have right now with DACA, because it's just been, like I said, it's just been really like crazy and unfair. Like I was able to submit my application for DACA earlier this month, but then just last week, again, it was closed off. So, continuing this fight because, it's not easy at all, but, we're strong and, our immigrant community is going to keep fighting for this because we deserve it. Um, yeah, but for sure, like, we're going to keep fighting, especially for the Black Lives Matter too, because, like, it wasn't just a moment, like, it's a movement. And, keep fighting. And I do know Tzipporah is organizing something again for our community. So, going out and supporting Tzipporah and, continuing by supporting Black businesses and, Black voices and amplifying those voices, especially right now that the fight is still happening.
Suppose you have an idea for a project on colorism. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, for sure. So I was kind of like, I think, like I mentioned before, the whole personal stuff, it's hard to, like you want to continue organizing things, doing things for the community, but when you have your own issues going on, it's hard. Like if I don't have a ride to somewhere and all of that. And my mom sent me a text this one night because I was really, really upset. And it was like this huge, it was like, and then she said, you need to use your platform and you need to do something that you've always wanted to do, that you would be really passionate. Don't let the flame like burn out. And it's always been a bad because colorism is something that I think affects, not I think, I know affects the Black community so strongly. And then also being half Asian, it's really, like colorism is very prominent in Asia, especially Southeast Asia. And I wanted to do a project and starting with the Black community first because I know it exists in other ethnic groups as well, but starting with the Black community first and doing some sort of like artistic video project I think would be really dope because visually I think it would grasp people, and I would be able to empathize that are usually, again, even within Black Lives Matter, when you look at like this Black women in the civil rights movement, a lot of them are fair skinned and they don't have dark skin, and so and their voices and their names so even within our fights we have a lot of work to do, and that's something that would involve other. There's no, like, white people aren't going to be like, okay, I'm going to help out. It's like, this is for Black people specifically and only. And I really like that. I think it's going to be really dope. Very creative. Very excited.
Well, I thank you for coming on to the QI. As a Black man, I want to salute the both of you for doing such an excellent job bringing Black Lives Matter to the forefront here in York City and County. And I want y'all to keep continuing the good fight. Keep safe out there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Y'all have a great day. Bless.
You too.
You too. Thank you.
And that was our interview with those two beautiful, lovely young ladies, Arlette Morales and Tzipporah Intan. By the way, for an update, they did win the Changemaker Award at the Downtown First Awards in York. Congratulations to both ladies on the winning of that award. Arlette, for an update, is still in her fight, her DACA fight, and we hope that she wins that battle. We're totally supporting that. Tzipporah's family is still displaced because of a fire in their home. I spoke to her today. She tells me she's still at the hotel, but for the past couple of weeks, she did go to North Carolina to chill with her sister, and that she'll be back soon. We're looking forward to that because we want to continue to update these two beautiful ladies and their stories as they continue on in their journeys in fighting the good fight. If you have any questions or comments on this episode or previous episodes, or what you would like to see or hear in the future, hit me up at therealqipodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit me at all of our social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at theqipodcast.com or the QI Podcast. Until next time, where we'll have another special interview with our state rep, I am your host, DJ 10th Power, signing off from the Lion's Den. Peace.